Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a great day. So, today I have a lot to unpack, and I'm going to be basically reviewing this video with you guys. I've already seen it. Been a couple of weeks now that I've been wanting to make this video and basically talk about this topic, okay? Where does piracy end and griefing begin? Okay? In this case, we have a player who goes by the name of Captain Dirty, part of Chaos Squadron, and he and his group of pirates basically boarded a player's carrack and neutralized everybody in order to pirate and take their cargo, and was met with resistance, which is totally fine. You know, piracy is a two-way street. We encourage you to fight back. However, as you're going to notice in this video right away, there's an immediate issue, and Captain Dirty was issued a ban warning for excessive griefing. Now, I'm going to let Agent's video play now, and we're going to get into basically my opinions afterwards. But let's go ahead and get into this video first.
I want to share with you all a concern that I have with CIG's handling of a warning that was given to a fellow pirate, Captain Dirty from Chaos Squad. My subsequent post on Spectrum seeking clarification on where CIG stands on this. Captain Dirty was given a warning for excessive griefing from CIG's customer support service. However, Captain Dirty, and at least 186 other people believe that CIG were in the wrong here. The scenario that resulted in this warning is something that we all could encounter as pirates. A carrack boarding against a solo player who has their respawn point set to the medbed of the ship. We'll call this player Carrack Karen. As with every piracy attack, resistance is expected. However, what this Carrack Karen decided to do was refuse to take the loss when the pirate crew had taken positive control of the ship. What ensued was 30 plus minutes of trying to negotiate with Carrack Karen, then having to suppress them since they refused any offers, defending their newly captured prize by killing good old Carrack Karen over and over again. Eventually the Carrack's medbay was full of bodies from the suppression of this persistent player, and due to lag, Captain Dirty was eventually taken down by Carrack Karen. However, his crew continued to salvage the carrack until it was stripped of all value and then handed back to the owner.
Okay, so hold on. There's the
Was refused to take the loss when the pirate crew had taken positive control of the ship. What ensued was 30 plus minutes of trying to negotiate with Carrack Karen, then having to suppress them since they refused any offers, defending their newly captured prize by killing good old Carrack Karen over and over again. Eventually.
Okay, so this is right here. This is the image that I wanted to put up. But I wanted you to hear that after all this was said and done, they just took their cargo. They didn't even blow up their ship. They just took their cargo. They went there for piracy. They took their cargo and they left. Now, here's my whole thing. When you look at this picture, it looks really bad. Like, really bad. Out of context. However, when you understand that the carrack has a medical bed that has infinite respawns, because you can set your bed in your carrack as your respawn point, it doesn't look as bad when you look at it from a piracy gameplay perspective. They're playing in the PTU. So this is the same player, essentially, that continuously kept respawning, which is fine. They can try to fight back as much as they possibly can. That's fine. There's not a problem with fighting back. The issue that I have is the fact that this player had no options other than to respawn here or server hop if they wanted to continue to play the game. In my opinion, this is CIG's fault. CIG should set a bed limit, a relog limit. I'm sorry, a respawn limit. 3 respawns in a minute. If you die 3 times due to a player killing you within a minute 3 times, you should have the option of respawning an indicator, the same way like when you get missions that pop up, an indicator should pop up where you can hit left or right bracket that asks you, do you want to respawn at your starting location? That is an immediate fix, as well as a convenient way for the player to remain in the server without having to leave, and also create a potential new experience in the game for the player that was pirated to come back to his carrick with a group of friends and retake it while the pirates are trying to unload all of their cargo. You spent all this time respawning and causing whatever desync in the game because of all the persistence of your bodies, versus you could have just selected another spawn point and then came back with large number of friends and retaken your entire ship and your cargo, and just have the satisfaction of that gameplay loop that's added just from this one change. That's my opinion on a potential fix. If you guys think that you have any other ideas for potential fixes, leave it in the comment section down below. Or if you agree with me or disagree with me, I'd still like to hear from you guys. Now, the thing about this also in 318 is, like I said, piracy. Where does it begin? Where does piracy end and where does griefing begin? Because in 318, okay, we have soft death, which is going to make piracy easier. And then there's going to be also a 5-minute cooldown on ship components when you use distortion or EMP weapons to shut down ships. Alt F4 is no longer going to work. You will be able to leave the game, but your ship and your body will persist in game because of PES, which is persistent entity streaming. Now, salvage is also coming to the game. And why does that have anything to do with piracy? Well, you're going to get a new multi-tool. And that multi-tool is going to allow you to do hull stripping. With hull stripping, it adds a whole new dynamic for piracy. Because once you have a soft death and your shields are down, you can essentially just strip the ship's hull entirely. And you can just shoot the player through the holes in the ship that you're creating. Or you can even create a hole big enough for you to enter the ship through the hole that you just created. Meaning that it's not just going to be the one ramp as an entry point. Piracy gameplay is being encouraged in Star Citizen, but the way CIG has handled this is very poor. This video that Agents is talking about, with the actual clip from Captain Dirty's perspective of, the events that transpired on this carrick, was posted onto Spectrum. And believe it or not, it was removed several times. Screenshots were taken actually by agents and other members of Star Citizen. The community is pretty much outraged at the fact that a potential ban in the future was issued to this player for excessive griefing when he was just trying to indulge in piracy gameplay, which once again is encouraged by CIG. If you don't believe me, there was actually a segment of Star Citizen Live where they discussed racing, and they introduced racing coming to the game officially with leaderboards and all this other stuff. But that's not all they talked about. They also talked about being able to pirate those racers, similar to the Tusken Raiders in The Phantom Menace, Episode 1 of Star Wars. Now, essentially the way they described this was that you would basically fire on the ships, the racers, as they're flying around their course. You would destroy the ships, and with soft death, you'd be able to go to the ships and use your hull stripping or your ship, like the reclaimer or the vulture, to strip the ship entirely, the way they do in Star Wars. So I ask you, what's the difference between doing something like that and doing something like this? Is that griefing or is that piracy? I'd like to know what your thoughts are, so please let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think that my solution is valid? How do you feel about piracy gameplay? Or do you hate PvP gameplay altogether? Because this is not just going to affect piracy in the future, this will also affect player versus player or player interactions altogether. Elite Dangerous already exists for people that don't want to have a player interaction experience. That might not be a popular opinion, but it is my opinion. I think that CIG did not do their due diligence, that they simply reviewed this photo out of context and did not even watch the video. And perhaps they did watch the video after the fact that they issued their ban warning for excessive griefing to Captain Dirty. Maybe they did watch it, but they never issued an apology, and they never came out and openly stated that they were wrong. All right, guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.